Well, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy? You're on. You're good. You're
doing great.
You
know
safe,
why?
pal.
You know why?
Safe.
Because over my shoulder in the monitor right now, you guys are soaking in the majesty
That's right.
of the Great Yellowstone with his
Oh, he's
Sneed
back
hat
there.
on.
There
Look
he
at
is.
him waving to the camera.
There's young
Beard's
Stones.
immaculately trimmed.
Yeah,
He's
he looks
just
great.
Yeah, he is looking great.
He looks great. We had
He
a great
does.
interaction. Stones, Gibby, and I at the right before upon my arrival. I'm in a quarter zip with a Palmetto logo on it, which is a symbol for this a specific thing.
And by the way, a remarkable golf cart houndstooth.
Yeah, they did a nice job.
Yeah, they did.
So we come in and Gibby admired the quarter zip,
As well they should.
And Mr. Stones did as well. And Stones goes, "Yeah, the Palmetto, it's great." And Gibby goes, "Well, I haven't played there," like thinking it was a golf, which is a fair assumption
Yeah, it's
in
a great
a quarter
logo.
zip.
They admired the logo.
They admired the logo. And Stones, without missing a beat, goes, "Well, it's a state,
It is.
South Carolina, as in South Carolina,
As
so
in
that was
South Carolina.
the home of young Scarlet."
Home of young Scarlet. A home of Charleston.
There we go. Now we're a little better.
Yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, I'm all right. Sun's out.
I feel good.
Had some rain yesterday. Sun's out. Had a nice little football practice. It was weird not having football last night
Yeah. I
because
want
we'd
it.
had it like
I want it.
every night, and you're so hungry for it that NBC said to me after we got the other two to bed, he said, "Dad, what channel's the game on? There's no
right.
game. There's,
Give me right
there's
football.
There's
Football.
no game. There's nothing to watch. So,
Football.
yeah, we ended up-
Tuesday.
yeah, well, you're gonna at some point you'll get it. You get the Maction. That's coming down when you get the college football stuff. The MAC takes care of Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so you get a little bit of that at some point. But that's like November.
You know what we watched a little bit in my house last night for the kids?
Give it to me.
A little bit of the VMAs.
Wow.
Right? And you think about what, like, at least for people of our age, the original
Cultural phenomenon that
with
was the VMAs. Yeah,
it
that
was pretty good last night.
The VMAs was if you're a man or a woman and you're 40 or thereabouts, the VMAs were something that, like, when it was that night,
It was a big deal.
lock it up.
Lock it up.
Lock it up.
Well,
What's
that's
going to
what-
happen? What's the performances? Who's going to be? I mean, that's
what
Madonna kissing Britney Spears
Yes.
and Aguilera. That's Jimmy Fallon introducing Guns N' Roses, but it really wasn't Guns N' Roses. Do you
What
remember
about
that? Like,
Howard Stern,
Howard Stern, for sure. Yeah, of
a
course. Yeah.
superhero character.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. All of those things were VMAs, and I
Yes.
didn't even know they were still doing them until I saw the story this morning that Jason Kelsey has pulled off the nearly what I thought would be maybe impossible. Is it the
Travis.
biggest? I'm sorry, Travis. Is it
Yes.
the biggest shoot your shot landed ever?
Maybe. So that was also a big topic in our household last night. The rumors that Taylor Swift and the great Travis Kelce are canoodling.
It is, right? So he
that's
went
the
on
rumor.
their podcast. He made like a bracelet. His podcast with his brother Jason.
Yep.
Made a bracelet with his number on it.
Elite
he tried
pod, by the
giving it to Taylor Swift when she played in Kansas City.
Correct.
She rebuffed,
Also correct.
but then reportedly they have since connected.
Yes.
And I was thinking about this and I want to get
And
your
somebody
VMA
saw him
thoughts in a
hanging
second.
out at 31 Flavors last night.
Must be true.
So there you go.
Is it the biggest shoot your shot ever?
I mean, she's the
Because it's not just that she's beautiful; it's that she's the most famous woman on the planet.
female Rock right now, right? Like, would you say that The Rock might be
Oh,
the most
gosh.
famous guy on the
I
planet?
think
And I think
like
she's bigger.
whatever, like Apex, like Michael Jackson. I think probably right. I
Yeah.
mean, in terms of that big of a star.
Like, it was funny because in the VMAs last night, they did a thing on Madonna and her over the last 40 years in music
Yeah.
or whatever. And my kids are like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "There was a time when Madonna was
Yeah.
what Taylor Swift is
There's no doubt.
to you."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Really?" I said,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I said, "There's other music out there. That's what's amazing about music.
Yeah.
There's other music for you to listen to other than only Taylor Swift and some Olivia Rodrigo from time to time."
That's interesting because my kids, I've told you before, they're timeless on the music. So
Well, yeah.
we were on the way to football the other day, and NBC started typing in "hypnotize."
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw the tweet,
Yes.
and I said,
Yeah, I
he
know
goes,
that.
he goes, "Dad, this is awesome. You got to hear this."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm familiar.
Quite.
If you want me to sing it, I can."
No, I know. That's why I love music.
So now the kids, there's a timelessness to it to where what's old is new again for them.
Yeah,
For
well,
sure.
it should be. You got to, so this VMA, in fact, was good in that regard because you had like Madonna, you had Shakira, who's been making music for a long time, P. Diddy came out and they gave him a big award and did like he performed some of his big songs. It was just cool. It was like a little bit throwing. And I guess it's 2 nights, so there's more to come.
Running it back.
More to
it's
come
like WrestleMania.
tonight. Yeah, more, right? 2 nights. Why not?
Yeah.
But it was good. And T Swift obviously is just
She cleaned up
on another
So is it the biggest
level.
shoot your shot because of the combination of fame and beauty?
I think so.
He is known, but he is not A-list in any way.
Yeah, he is.
No, come on.
He hosted Saturday Night Live.
He's not A-list in the terms of like A-list, like DiCaprio or something
He
like
might be
that.
the best tight end of all time.
He's not that. He's not a. I don't even know if he's an A-list athlete.
But she hasn't dated for a while
she's
back in the
Harry
day.
Styles and all those type of dudes.
John Mayer.
Yeah, she dated some.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
but then
that's
all flamed out. So maybe she's
but
looking
they're all
for.
I'm just saying, like
He's famous. Though.
There's no question he is
It's not
known.
like if it's not like if Uno walked up to her and gave a bracelet,
and I'm not
it
even
worked
saying
out.
it would be the same as if, and I know he's happily married, but it wouldn't even be the same as like if Harrison Bryant. Like I'm not saying that. Like Jason Kelsey is certainly A-list by NFL standards.
Yes.
Okay. But I don't know if he's A-list in the sports world.
Travis. I mean,
I keep saying Jason.
I know.
Travis. Yeah.
That's
Thank
right.
you for continuing to correct. I'm like Shannon with Skip and
J-
Stephen
you
A.
are-
I can't keep doing the wrong
Come
thing.
on, Skip.
At some point, that's got to be like fireable, right? Like if you just keep calling him the wrong name,
wrong
it's
name?
got to be like,
Yes.
Look, Shannon, we got to sort this out.
Like
because,
Stephen
it's been
A.
a week. He's known.
Quite
actually,
known.
Quite a few more people watch this show than the one you were
He's
on.
bringing you onto his
He's bringing
show.
you on as a life raft, and you're blowing this.
You're blowing it.
And you can tell it's eating him up. It's in his head now.
Yes.
It's just part of his – he doesn't know how to not do it. I
Yes.
don't know how long – like if you're ESPN, like at some point you got to say, like, look, dude, like go
All right,
away
I'll
for
give-
6 months and come back.
I'll give you what you want, which is I don't know if it's the biggest shoot your shot ever.
Yeah.
But it's on the Mount Rushmore of shoot your shots because of where she is right now. She is like the apex lady.
All right.
And he seems to have landed it. But I think that
I mean, Federline got Spears in her prime.
But that was, and to me, that's way different. Like
It's way different because they were
is-
connected also because and she was a huge star at that time, but he was like a backup dancer.
He was a backup dancer.
Like he got in the friend zone and then improved himself. This is not knowing anybody and then just
Hey, maybe we'll enjoy each other's company. I don't see anything wrong
fantastic.
with
I think they
both of them saying sure, why not?
matrimony. Let's get a little matrimony.
Both
here.
born
Who
in
gets hurt?
1989,
Who gets hurt?
same year as Miss K.
Jeez, what a drop out of you. It's amazing. Just God. Great job out of you.
Thank you.
Oh, one more. We were talking about the Aaron Rodgers injury yesterday.
Ugh.
Brutal. Just brutal.
I cut him off my fantasy team out of pre-waivers out of anger.
I had to cut him out of NBC's team, and it was like I picked up the other back for the Rams because we had to pick up Love with one of his other claims.
So Love is his.
Love's is it. That's it. Because all these kids pick quarterbacks, dude.
So crazy.
He's so mad at me. I'm like, you did the right thing. It doesn't seem like it, Dad. Doesn't seem like we did.
Listen,
He's not pleased because they've all got like there's a kid who's got like Joe Burrow and Cousins.
so trade with that guy for Cousins.
Right, but we need to. He can't trade from this position of desperation. He needs at least 1 week out of Jordan Love to stay above afloat.
If he's drafted, if this league went, if you send me his roster, I guarantee there's somebody who would start for this other guy at receiver right now that wouldn't hurt your team one bit, and then that he would give you Cousins for.
We'll see.
So what you
but
gotta do.
anyway, we had to get it going. I mean, but it's also like I'm having to coordinate it then through him to his friends. His friends comes back. It's just a nightmare. Like eventually, that's what's going to happen.
Just tell him, and if you want this to be one of my learnings, one of the Uncle
One of the
Z
learnings, yeah.
there is a difference between process and outcome. You can have the right process and not have the desired
what I said.
outcome.
That's what I said.
But if you continue to employ the proper process, you will ultimately have the desired outcome at a much higher percentage
Yeah.
than you would by employing an erroneous process.
This speech that you just gave is one that we have all the time with their athletics. Like if you put in the work, it will pay off. Not necessarily every single time you do the endeavor,
Sure.
but over the long haul, it will. So yes, yeah, that's a good job. So I got this morning. Most heartbreaking, start of season injury. One that I had not thought about in a very long time. Kajana Carter. First pick in the draft out of Penn State, running back to the Bengals. Did not get a game.
Imagine saying that now, by the way.
No, I know.
First pick in
the draft, running back. Yeah. But he was lights out. Broke his leg, I want to say in preseason or in a camp, and never I mean, he was never the same because in those days you had an injury like that, you're basically done. But one of those things where like you couldn't wait to see what it looked like for him. It happened very early. I can't remember if it was right away in the regular season or if it was in the preseason.
What year about was that?
This has got to. Well, he was on the '94 Penn State team, so this would have been the '95 season.
Okay,
you got it, Gibbe?
Yeah, 95 draft, suffered a knee tear during his first preseason game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Struggled with injuries the remainder of his career, missing most of his 5 seasons with the Bengals.
Yeah, never played.
No.
But like that was one where it was like he was going to paratroop in on that team. He was lights out at Penn State, and that was one that I had forgotten. Because that's a new acquisition as opposed to like the Vic one or the Brady,
Sure,
where they were already there.
Given what you were talking about too, with like injuries and what it used to be like that at that time, do we give proper awe to what Frank Gore accomplished in his career? Because his first knee tear was not that much longer after that. I mean, maybe within 5-10 years.
He tore it,
and then he tore
it at Miami.
Both. Yeah,
he tore both him and McGahee tore a knee up at Miami. McGahee in the national championship.
But I think
game.
Gore tore both.
Yeah, it could be. So that's 2000
and went on to play. Yeah,
01.
01. Yeah.
And went on to play for like
15
20 years.
Yeah, right. We've come a long way.
Carter tore the ligament in his knee on his 3rd carry of his first preseason game.
I'm saying when Gore did it, when Gore did it, you weren't supposed to be able to do what he did. Like nobody else who suffered that injury at the time that Frank Gore did what Frank Gore did. He is literally one of one.
That's
like McGahee's career was never.
No, he had a couple of, but
decent
years.
It's
amazing that McGahee shredded his in the national championship game and lost to Ohio State. Horrific injury. He redshirted that next year, I think, with the Bills. They drafted him, and then he basically redshirted, and then he was pretty good
for a couple
of years. He was decent, but there's a limit to it. We've seen that with Jalen Smith, the linebacker out of Notre Dame. Like you can come back, but it's just shorter. You're great for a short period. Adrian Peterson's the nonsense one. I mean, that's the one where he came back in less than a year. But now we're getting into the late 2010s.
And he's in college. Okay, so Gore tore his ACL in his left leg twice at Miami.
Oh, jeez.
First in 2002 in the Hurricanes spring practice. That led the way for McGahee to be the starting running back. The next tear came October of 2003 against West Virginia, and somehow he went on to play in the league forever and be a monster. That's what I mean. Like that is
that's impossible.
Impossible. And he fractured his hip in 2010. Like, it's crazy.
It is.
Most NFL GMs and teams did not think his knees would hold up even after he'd had major surgery. And he had major surgery on both of his shoulders after his rookie year. And they played forever.
Some guys are just built different.
I'm saying he is one.
I think one of one.
In that era, he is probably one of one to go through 2 ACL tears in college and then have a legit long career.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, wild.
No problem with it. Absolutely so. We've come a long way, man.
Yes.
Like what you can come back from. We had some roster moves, ironically enough, at 3:30 yesterday. The Browns officially placed Jack Conklin on injury reserve. Michael Dunn to the active roster from the practice squad. We did mention how do you say this kid's name? You looked it up and it was.
I put it already on my. I told
like the N
I
is
told
silent.
my guy Sam I need it in here.
Secchi?
It's Ty Inseki.
Inseki. Ty Inseki. Tommy Togiai comes back to the practice squad as well. So those are the roster moves that are kind of coordinated there. Also the release of cornerback Lorenzo Burns from the practice squad to make way. There you go.
There you go. So when we talked about it yesterday, so now Dunn comes up, so your active roster is going to have Hudson as the backup swing tackle. You'll likely have Dunn there, and they could decide they want to, this guy's a complete pro. He started a ton of games in his career. 103 regular season games, 25 starts. He may be active. He may be somebody they just activate on game days early on. They're just probably going to get him in here, see how he's doing, and go from there.
It's one of those ones that's kind of half glued on.
Yeah.
It's kind of half glued.
Yeah.
We got it.
Well, you got brute strong.
One other thing with us, like in an emergency situation, let's remember, I don't know, Joel Bitonio can be like an all-pro left tackle if he needs to be.
Well, I think that's probably the thought, too.
You know what I mean?
He can always kick out. Yeah. Yeah. Because let me tell you something. We need to
remember that?
We need
all of a sudden
he was top 3 in the league for the 3 weeks that he did that. That was in the 2021 season.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the end, Christmas, he played left tackle Christmas against.
Yep. It was like,
Against the Packers.
actually, he's great at this.
He is quite good at it. Well, yeah, we're going to need our tackles, by the way.
As
Going
we
against
turn the page
Highsmith and Watt, baby.
to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have two massive injuries that they racked up in week one with Cam Hayward and also with Deontay Johnson. They still are formidable, specifically on the edges, which you know with Highsmith and Watt. This is right now, it's the first, and I'm sure it'll hold, especially with their injuries. First time since '89 we've been favored over there.
Yeah, and this is the first time since the 2016 season that Cam Hayward has missed a game due to injury.
Wow, he's played like
Six straight years
without injury.
6 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros in that run. This is the first time he's missed a game in 6 years.
How many All-Pros?
3 in the last 6 years.
He's building towards a
Yeah, he's got a
building
solid,
towards it, yeah.
very solid resume, and played. Listen, are we sad that they're not gonna have a guy that's got, just last year in the 2 games against us, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits?
Nope,
Not gonna miss him.
no, not at all. Also, not going to be an asterisk.
No, those don't exist. They don't exist.
Happened twice over the weekend. Yeah,
I
the
know.
one on
It
Thursday, the
really
one on
pissed me
Monday.
off.
I agree. I thought it was nonsensical.
Really pissed
Absolutely
me off.
nonsensical. There is a chance, and we'll meet the Steelers coming up in the next segment, but there is opportunity here for the idea that this is week 2, and Cincinnati hosts Baltimore, trying to avoid 0-2 for the second straight year, and Pittsburgh hosts us, trying to avoid 0-2 with some injuries. This is a big week.
Yeah.
It's week. Everyone's like, it's week 2. No, you wake up Tuesday morning, you 2-0 in the division with tiebreakers already over Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Let's go.
So you're going to get to hear later on in the show an interview I did with Grant Delpit earlier. Number one, as you know, this is basically an official program of Grant Delpit.
That's right.
They're locked in. Like, they're not. They are fully focused on repeating what they did on Monday night.
You could tell it.
Locked in.
You could see it we put up the mic'd up video of Newsom this morning. You could see it in that. You could see it in Miles. When it's a fun thing that's going around that video of him doing the air crossover, but that's in the first quarter.
It was the first possession.
He's behaving as if he has the answers to the test in the first quarter. That wasn't that was in the fourth.
No.
The third.
That was the
What was that? What play was that?
6th play of the game.
Yeah.
Because they converted a third down to Chase on the
Right.
and then that was the next third down. Mm-hmm. And we got sacked. Yeah, that was the opening possession of the game.
That's different out of him. Like he does not first game, first 6th play.
No.
Come on. Yeah. So there's a lot of belief.
Yep.
But look, there's a lot of belief in Pittsburgh as well. We will meet the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll go around the league. As Z mentioned, we will have that conversation that he had with Grant Delpit. We will attempt to guess the spread, see how Dr. Z does on that. Fun little program for you on a First Friday. We are off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition? Enter the Dog Race Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone. It's your chance to have your pup compete in the annual halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/contest to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocery or pet supply store. Time to meet the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, 163, 93-2, 17 seasons on the job. The Steelers lead the overall series 80-62-1. The Browns are 3-4 in the last 7 meetings, including the playoff win from a couple of years ago. Outside of that playoff win, the last win in Pittsburgh goes all the way back to 2003. Pittsburgh won the last time out in Pittsburgh in January 28-14. The last game they played was, of course, a bludgeoning Week 1 at home against San Francisco, 30-7. That's where you stand at this point. For more of the specifics on the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dr. Z.
All right, folks, look, I watched this game in its entirety yesterday, the Steelers and the 49ers. It was not pretty. And I don't know how much can honestly be learned from that game about this football team. It was kind of just a disaster. Started off on offense with 5 straight 3-and-outs. Mm-hmm. They went like this, as a matter of fact. They went on the first one, he got sacked. Second one, interception on third down. Third one, 3-and-out, he missed a guy who was wide open. Fourth one, 3-and-out, sack. Fifth, 3-and-out, misfire. They had 1 yard until inside of 2 minutes to go in the first half. Yeah. Kenny Pickett did not look good. The offensive line did not look good. He does have some good skill with, George Pickens. Now they're going to miss Deontay Johnson, who's been the team's leading receiver each of the last 2 seasons, was a Pro Bowler in 21. Pickens in this game, 7 targets, 5 catches. Do you know what his long reception was? 9 yards. It was odd. Now they tried him downfield twice. Didn't catch either. Well, he did catch one of them, made an absurd one-handed catch again, but was out of bounds. And then one they overshot him on a vertical route. Their offense didn't look good, and really, this is a kind of a repeat team on offense. Isaac Seumalo is the new left guard, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. Allen Robinson's in there. He actually led the team with 5 catches for 64 yards in Week 1. But that's really kind of it in terms of principal new guys. And then Darnell Washington comes in as a blocking tight end. But Kenny Pickett struggled last year, I thought, and struggled in this opener as well. 31 of 46, that sounds good, 67%, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, should have had 3. Fred Warner dropped the pick 6 of the easiest variety. 68 rating, was sacked 5 times, 1 rush for 4 yards. He's not that mobile.
No, they think he's like everybody. There's this perception he's just a scrambling.
Not at all.
Kenny Pickett make plays happen. That's just not what he is.
Not at all.
It's not,
and you
not
certainly didn't see that there. But this is a team where offensively they're trying to do enough, right? Take care of the football, do enough.
But even though, and they got down right away and they couldn't get anything going, but they threw it 46 times, they ran it 10.
I think some of that had to do
game
with
flow, sure, but geez,
and
establish something.
They couldn't though.
They couldn't do anything.
They couldn't run. Najee ends up with 6 carries for 31 yards, but I think he had all of it on 1 carry. Yeah. He had a 22-yard carry. So the rest of them, 5 carries for 9 yards. Add that up. That's 8 carries for 15 yards between he and Jaylen Warren, who was a non-factor as well. You flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. This is where, obviously, this team is dangerous. You got Alex Highsmith on one side. Highsmith, by the way, had 4 sacks against the Browns in 2 games last year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to reiterate that.
Seems about right.
4 sacks. That's a problem.
Yeah, that seems about right. That's the way I remember it.
That's a problem. T.J. Watt only played in one of the games against the Browns, which was the last one. He had a half a sack. But if you go watch his tape against the Niners, 3 sacks on the day. He was a 2021 Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 5 quarterback hits, a tackle for a loss, a pass defense, and 6 pressures.
How could one family produce? The idea that the Watts and the Boses exist
is wild.
Right?
Yeah. A little bit of a laggard compared to JJ and TJ.
Yeah. I would say when Joey got paid, it hasn't been, I don't know if we're still quite on the same trajectory.
No.
He was early.
Yes.
And he was banged up a few times, but then it's kind of been more of a plateau.
JJ was
as dominant.
Multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year.
He was as dominant as Aaron Donald for a stretch.
Yeah.
Before the injuries started to stack. The other thing about them is the Bosa's uncle. So the dad was played, and then the Bosa's uncle was like a top 5 pick of the Dolphins.
Wow.
So there was that
Well, think
kinda all
about
there.
since J.J. Watt came in the league, and he won, 3 Defensive Players of the Year?
At least he won. Did he win 3 in a row?
All right, so he's won. TJ won one, and Nick Bosa won last year. So if you think about the fact that since JJ won his first, and I know you're looking, so you'll be able to tell me the first year that he won his first Defensive Player of the Year.
He won Defensive Player of the Year. The first. Oh my God! I mean, it's hard to look. He's got so many things that he did here. Defensive Player of the Year. Why is this not easier?
Are you on Pro Football Reference?
5-time first team All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 12, 14, and 15.
All right, so 12 through the 22 season would be 11 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 of those have been won by somebody with the last name Watt or Bosa. 4 by Watts.
4 by Watts, yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. But look, this is what this team does. Losing Cam Hayward is massive. Cam Hayward is someone who has harassed the Browns significantly so. He had 2 sacks last year in that Week 18 game that they won. He's got 11 and a half sacks in his career against the Browns alone. He is 14-4-1 against the Browns. So missing him will be good. They've got an entirely new inside linebacking core. Landon Roberts, Cole Holcomb, and Quan Alexander are there. They all kind of rotate. Holcomb plays the most. Roberts plays more on just kind of straight up running downs. Quan Alexander as well. Their secondary, new pieces as well. Keanu Neal's kind of their third safety. They played a lot of big nickel in this game. 3 safeties on the field. Very little did they play, honestly, with the third corner on the field. Chandon Sullivan, their nickel cornerback, he only played 13 snaps. Joey Porter Jr., the rookie first rounder, 7 snaps in this game.
That's it, huh?
It's Pat Pete on one side, it's Levi Wallace on the other. Now, Pat Pete, he went into this game.
Oh, baby. Did he ever?
Goes on a podcast and says, oh, they got tells in their offense. I know exactly what's coming.
Yep.
And we're going to go ahead and, well, I personally am going to intercept Brock Purdy, and then I'll come back here on this podcast and tell you my secrets.
Mm-hmm. How'd that go?
The first touchdown of the game for the 49ers, Brock Purdy to Brandon Ayuk as he beat Pat Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Ayuk would catch 2 touchdowns in this game. The second
right.
one, Brock Purdy to Brandon Ayuk as he just manhandled, good coverage, took the ball away from and scored on Pat Pete for the second time. So in the game, Patrick Peterson gave up 67% completions and a 129 rating when targeted. I wonder if he'll be doing podcasts anytime soon. One thing to watch out for in this game, you got Watt Highsmith. We all know those names. Larry Ogunjobi had 1.5 sacks against us last year. He had 4 pressures in the opener. He looked pretty good in the middle of that defense. They also added Marcus Golden, who's had a pretty decent career as a pass rusher. And so keep an eye on him when they are kind of doing their rotations of keeping Highsmith and Watt fresh. Golden can get after the quarterback as well. But this is a team that, again, it's hard. Minka's a star. Cam Hayward's a star, but he won't play. Watt's a star. Highsmith's a star. They got guys that, at least 2 of the 3 levels that are really, really good players and considered to be amongst the best at their positions. But I think you can test this secondary. Obviously, the Niners felt very comfortable doing so. The Niners were able to run the ball on them up the middle, and this is after Cam Hayward goes out. But listen to these numbers. They averaged on 10 rushes up the middle. They picked up 103 yards, including a 65-yard touchdown run. I thought that was pretty interesting to see. And one thing I noticed, they're using more 4-man rushes in this one, did the Steelers. And they would get kind of like in a wide 9 and pretty did a good job of stepping up in the pocket to deliver the football. So those are some notes right there from watching that game. But look, this team did not play well in week 1. Kenny Pickett did not look good in week 1. They will be better this week. But I do think we as a defense have the ability to overwhelm this offensive line. Their left tackle, Dan Moore, gave up a sack and 9 pressures. Their right guard gave up 6 pressures. Their center gave up a sack and 4 pressures. I mean, there's a lot of leakage there.
Can you recall in recent years, since we've kind of understood what preseason football is all about, a player getting more positive goodwill based on what they did in preseason than Kenny Pickett did?
Okay.
It's crazy. Like,
So-
I'm listening to the Sal and the Cuz, and like Simmons has him winning the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
It's
based off of.
buffoonery.
I was talking to Nate Davis, who writes for USA Today, and he's like, Pickett looks so good in the preseason. He does
So
their
what?
power poll. I'm thinking, and what does that have to? I don't understand. Like, what does that have to do?
Do people forget
with
how
anything? Like, preseason doesn't count. Like, what? Who cares?
Right. Teams aren't scheming for you. It's vanilla. There's nothing. There's no game planning. It's absurd. I listened. So when I watch, they say watch the game. When I watch an opponent, this is a tip I got from the great Jim Donovan, and we're all certainly thinking about him today and always, was to watch the TV copy, because then you'll get to hear from the announcers typically the stuff that the coaches give them or the players give them in their production meetings. So it was Moose Johnson was the analyst in this one. I think it was Joe Davis and Moose Johnson, if that sounds
Seems
right.
like it, yeah.
Sure, why not? The first quarter was like incessant. 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. It was like the guy, 22 returning Letterman, looking tough. Like, it was nonstop, and I'm like, okay, well, now we're on the third and out,
of a real game now.
Of a real game.
Yeah, this
third
is the
three and out,
real game now.
Sack, pick, wild misfire. And then they're like, well, maybe the preseason, maybe they're showing the preseason maybe doesn't matter that much.
No kidding.
They're like, the Niners didn't play their guys at all, and look at them. He's like, they're making a mockery of the preseason right now. I'm like, dude,
it is known.
Only you guys were acting like this was some type of a forebear. In the old days, you could maybe get some of the preseason when guys were playing a quarter, a half, and 3 quarters, and you started to see like real football over a period of time. You're talking about 5 drives. Well, their first 5 drives that mattered, there were 15 plays.
Yeah.
There were negative net yards. Like, that was, and it just made me laugh on the commentary. I will tell you what, so like the way that the film's broken up, it's not when you watch a TV copy, it's still not watching like straight through.
Yeah.
It's only offense, only defense. I was in the second half on their offense in like 3 minutes.
Not many plays.
Boom, boom, boom. Yep. And there was not a whole lot, not a whole lot to say. They were planning on, and Moose is like, we had all this stuff about if Kenny Pickett played well, but kind of like Peyton.
Yeah.
He's like, well.
Couldn't shift.
Yeah.
So if it's based on the preseason, it's based on last year, and a lot of what you get is based off of that he had some clutch moments down the stretch. So they won their last 3 games, including one against us. They won their last 3. They actually won 5 of their last 6. But if you look at that stretch of games, only once did he throw for over 70% completion percentage. It was a 20 of 28 for 174, a robust.
I was going to say, how many times did they throw for more than 200?
Oh, just once. 244 against Vegas in a 13-10 game. He threw it 39 times for 244.
Right.
What's the yards per attempt on that, Emery?
He threw yesterday, or on Sunday, I'm sorry, 46 times for 232.
Yeah. In fact, only once last year did he throw for 300
That's 5
yards.
yards an attempt.
He threw for 300 yards once on 52 attempts in a 38-3 loss to the Bills, his second time out.
Yeah.
There just isn't anything here.
More picks than touchdowns?
This isn't Baker Mayfield was exponentially better as a rookie than Kenny Pickett was.
Yes.
Not close.
Yes.
On every level.
On every level. They only threw 12 touchdowns last year, which I'm pretty sure was the fewest in the NFL.
Yeah, he went 7 touchdowns at 9 picks. Now, all of that to be said, whatever their best is, you'll see it Monday.
Yeah, and listen, he beat us 28-14. Week 18, different team,
He was 13
feels.
of 29.
That's right, 45% in that game. Yeah, 45%.
All right, we'll go around the league coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. One of the big things you're going to be dealing with this season the rest of the way is the fact that, and this happens from time to time, a team gets a ton of nationally televised games, and all of a sudden they're maybe not what you thought they were in the beginning, and this applies to the New York Jets with the injury to Aaron Rodgers. 5 nationally televised games left this season. The NFL and the networks are not planning to flex 3 of the 5 per Pro Football Talk. However, PFT reports 2 could be flexed into, including the Jets and Browns on Thursday night down the road. So for perspective, and by the way, that seems to be a lock.
Yeah.
Did you hear, by the way, I saw the one person that they were thinking of reaching out to is Phillip Rivers.
Well, that was the story that the
in
Niners.
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah.
That he was like relatively in shape, and he's like coaching high school football in Alabama, and that he might give it a go.
He's living in Alabama?
I think he's from there. He's from
I'm just
Alabama.
thinking he's like a San Diego legend, and there aren't a lot of better places to make a residence than San Diego.
Facts. But I think he's in that Pensacola area, so I'm
Okay.
guessing he's on the Gulf.
Okay.
A little bit of beachfront.
Okay.
The way you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Wants to be around kin.
They need. I just think they got to. You go for Jacoby Brissett. You go for with that defense, that running game. He obviously was able to get the ball to Amari Cooper. I think you call Washington immediately about Jacoby Brissett. I think you call.
There's not many more out there, though.
Jameis.
I'd almost rather see I would almost know emphatically what Wilson is. I think they already do.
I think that it's.
What are you playing for? That's what it comes
they're
down
playing?
to.
I
Like,
think
what
they're
are
still trying to make the playoffs.
okay, so if they're trying to chase the 7 seed, because they're not going to be better than Miami, they're not going to be better than.
Well, injuries
they
change
just beat
things,
Buffalo,
right.
but I mean, you never know. But I mean, it feels like over the long term they won't be. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you do. You have a very different view of the AFC after the Rodgers injury and after this weekend. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, like that's a brutal loss for the Bills.
Yeah.
Like that, the way that happened. That's as bad as it can be.
It was a horrific loss.
Yeah. The team's Week 4 game against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football will remain on NBC. The Week 9 game against the Chargers on Monday Night Football will remain on ESPN. The Week 12 game against the Dolphins Black Friday remaining on Prime Video. However, the game against the Raiders and then our game could be flexed off in that regard.
So that'll be interesting, and they would have to give, it says in here, 28 days notice for our Thursday night game to get changed. That was such a circle-it game. Like, that was going to be a game of such immense consequence.
Yeah.
Wasn't that right after Christmas? Was it coming?
Week 17, so that would be probably going into New Year's, right?
That is literally 3 days after Christmas.
Yeah, because we're in
So it's the
Houston.
28th.
Houston for Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And then
Nothing says Christmas like the swamp that is Houston.
nothing says Christmas like an 88-minute bus ride from the stadium to the airport
Correct.
before you have an
Even with a motorcade.
8-hour flight
It's
home.
that far?
Oh, my God, dude. It's
stupid.
Is it that it's that far? Or is it there's no easy way?
It's that far.
Really?
You
It's
have
like
to go
an hour and a
like-
half?
It's a
No,
combination
it's really
of
like
both.
It's really like probably. I'm exaggerating. It's probably an hour,
Traffic is nightmare.
but it's far. The Houston Airport is not close.
It's not near the
not where the stadium is.
yeah. Houston's huge too.
Yeah, it's very large.
Yeah. So you got that on Christmas Eve, and then you'll be back, and then you play 4 days later. So if you get flexed out of that, then that game potentially could be played on the weekend?
Yeah.
And I think, you would move to Sunday probably at 1:00.
So that gets you into New Year's Day, right? New Year's Day at 1:00.
Yep.
No. New Year's Day is Monday.
Oh, New Year's
Christmas
Eve.
Day, it would be New Year's Eve.
Ugh.
That's all we need. You know what? I
Nathaniel
can't
did
wait.
not like that answer.
I can't wait. And we're getting closer to it. But like when these holidays are like Tuesday, Wednesdays, great.
Yeah, get them off the weekends.
Yes.
It's brutal.
Weekends
So-
are good.
Yeah.
We don't
I
need this to be
can-
affected by football so many years in a row.
What was it? Week 10, they gave the options for week 10. I mean, the highlighted game that could bump them, 49ers Jags.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a great game.
Yeah. Also Packers Steelers that week.
You can always bet
Let's
on
hope
those
that-
brands, but I can't imagine that's
Let's hope that's
too
not
relevant.
consequential.
Yep. Week 17. The big game that could bump us. Dolphins Ravens.
Yeah, that one feels like it'll be of consequence
Yeah.
for both potentially.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm happy for our team, a team that will have had, if we do get flexed, I will be very happy for our team, a team that had a week 5 bye, that going into that week 17 game will have played 12 straight games, 11 straight games,
Yeah.
not having to play on a Thursday night. Like, I'd be totally fine with that for our team.
Yeah. Yeah. The NFL is expanding its effort to attract more players from outside the United States. New rule going to increase the size of practice squads by one player as long as that player comes from a foreign country. That's one of those things like they do with the soccer where, like, if a guy is born, like, on a Navy base or an Air Force base or Army base in Germany, then all of a sudden he's German or he's American.
Yeah.
That's the way that's...
Well,
that'll operate.
there was a guy on the Chiefs. I don't have my Chiefs boards with me, but there was a guy on the Chiefs who was the first international pathways player to make a 53-man roster.
There you go.
Defensive lineman.
I would think, like, punters out of Australia,
Sure.
those guys typically have a pretty good shot.
Wasn't there like a
Doing this thing?
Darren Bennett?
Oh, he was great
For
the
the
rugby
for
player.
the
Yeah.
Chargers,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, he's a stud. New NFL power rankings out. Kim Kelly of CBS Sports factoring in past production and present status. This is quarterbacks.
Quarterback power ranking.
All right, so they have Deshaun 17th in the league. The top four: Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, and Lawrence. Well, you're not factoring in past production, but whatever. Like, it's just never going to be what it is. You think if you went to Kyle Shanahan right now and you said Brock Purdy, Deshaun Watson?
I think he'll take Deshaun Watson. Brock Purdy's been pretty darn good, though.
He's been good. He looked good in that game.
Looked real good.
Looked really good.
It's wild. So, like, this is the other thing watching that game that was just wild to me. He'll, like, take his drops and then just stand at the top and not even, like, move his feet. He just kind of stands there like a statue like Garoppolo would do.
Well, he got that from Brady. That's
then
Brady's
throw it
move,
at the last
remember?
second.
Garoppolo mimicked Brady.
Yeah.
Like Hoyer did that when he went there. Then he would do it where he would just stand. Like Brady would drop and just stand.
Yeah.
And that's the Garoppolo started mimicking it, and then Purdy started doing it. I noticed the same thing with Wilson. Like, he has a lot of, like, the Rodgers mannerisms that he picked up. And so does Jordan Love watching the Packers play. You know, you watch greatness and you try to emulate it.
Sure.
You know?
I feel badly for Zach Wilson. I think that if this injury had happened on play 4 of the 2024 season, it would be a whole different. He'd have a much better shot. Like, a couple months together, I don't think gives him an opportunity to really, like, go through, like, to watch him game plan for real.
Oh, no.
He didn't get to see any
yeah.
of that.
And I don't know what Rodgers, we haven't heard from him yet. Who knows what, like, his impact will be around the Jet? Like, will he hang around? Is he going to,
I think he will.
you know, like, what's his investment? Is he gonna rehab it and try to come back for next year? Or is he like, man, I'm good. I'm a man. I'm 40. I've done it all. 4 MVPs. I'm good.
It's wild.
Yeah,
You know, it's
could be
crazy,
the end.
too, and I think this is nuts. The NFL won't allow the Jets to trade their first-round pick next year
Right.
because it's in that trade as a conditional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know the condition's not going to be met.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
think
it's a
that's
second-round
crazy.
pick.
I saw that.
Release the first-round pick. Let them trade it if they want to.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
So it's done. Yeah, I thought that was strange. I saw that as well. The Bengals have released offensive tackle Lyle Collins from the team's physically unable to perform list. Remember, he signed the 3-year, $21 million deal last year. One other thing I saw Goodell this morning. You know, the NFLPA put out that note
Yep.
about the turf versus the grass and
Yep.
calling on all of the fields to be grass going forward. And, of course, we have grass here. You'll be playing on grass this week in Pittsburgh. In our division, is it just Cincinnati or is Baltimore? Baltimore used to had pristine grass. Is it turf now, or are they still grass?
No, they're grass.
Okay, so Cincinnati's the only turf in the north.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore's gone back and forth.
But the field, I think, at least as I recall, the field is grass. Off of the field is turf.
Yeah.
Like the sidelines and stuff are turf, but the field is grass.
Yeah, they had.
It's grass.
I remember when Ohio State played there against Navy, like it was like Augusta, the grass in Baltimore.
I want to hit wedges out there.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun? So anyway, Goodell was doing some media rounds this morning, responding to that and saying that it very much sounds. Oh
my God. Jesus. That's how you know we're 1-0. Okay, Swag
Haven't
just
seen
came
him in 2 days.
We haven't seen him all
He's
week.
a ghost.
Ghost. Obviously
It's a
doing
slow
business.
saunter.
Aviators on.
On.
Sport coat. The Travis Scotts. Slow saunter. Looked sun-kissed, didn't he? Looked like he'd been.
Great.
That was
Come
unbelievable.
on. What an entrance. God, Swag. I mean, it's how he should
That's
enter.
how he should be.
On a Victory Monday or a Victory First Friday, as it were.
Yeah, like if
That's
we're,
how you gotta do it.
If we're gonna be good,
Man, that's how I want to be right there. That guy's got it all sorted out.
are you kidding me?
That was unbelievable entrance.
That was
It
like-
took our breath away.
It did.
Yeah.
It felt like it should have been accompanied by some grand music. It wasn't.
should have,
and
yeah.
it's still. Maybe our gasping was the soundtrack.
It
of
could have
that
been.
entrance.
That could have been how that was.
We bought like I was just like
Stop me mid-sentence.
Come on.
Yeah, it was just not. Come on, what are we doing? It's unbelievable. Haven't seen you in 2 days. That's how you
much.
walk in? Come on. So Goodell, you remind me of like an NCAA.
Yeah.
Somebody who works for the NCAA. He goes, there are some people who like grass and some people who actually prefer the turf because it's faster. Some players who prefer the turf because it's faster.
That
And
is
he
true.
And he says we're gonna go to the science on this. Well, the science is pretty much
grass.
grass.
Yeah.
And I've never heard a player who prefers the turf to the grass.
I like some guys who like a fast track. Like to have their footing, like you wouldn't
Yeah.
have like slipping out and all of those things. But
That's only
also
when it
the
gets
problem.
Yeah, that's also the problem of it, right? And it's because you don't have that,
Right.
But it can be done. That we know.
Well,
It
and
can
a
be
lot
done.
of places that have turf are swapping in grass for the World Cup, so we absolutely know it can be done.
including New York,
Right.
the Meadowlands.
Well,
where
that
they're-
one's that's
in the World Cup. They're
outrageous.
going to play on. They're bringing in turf in there.
Like, I understand in some of these domes, you're going to have
Some
to
of the
come up
older
with,
domes, you don't have probably the technology, and in the original build, they didn't plan for
right.
or grass, like the one that's I referenced from Real Madrid, where they are going to they have two separate grass fields that are both stored underneath the new Bernabeu, and they drop down and then lift up, and they're all watered and they get the vitamin D underground, but they built that with that in mind. Like I'm guessing Minnesota didn't build that with that in mind.
No, but here's my thought. In the year 2023, like I feel like there have to be grow lights or whatever that you could
So they
where
do
you could
this.
grow grass.
In fact,
grass. We're
this-
talking about grass.
This ownership group does that down in Columbus at the soccer facility because it does the way it's built. It doesn't get enough sun, so they have grow lamps that they put all over the grass so that it's perfect. So yes, it can be done. I suppose even indoors. There's no reason it couldn't be. You just would have to, like, just from a water table perspective. Like if you built something with a cement, how do you do that? Smart people can figure
Smart
those things
people can
out.
figure
Yeah,
this out.
Gotta be able to do it.
Real quick from NFL Media, Week 1 NFL viewership. Total audience, 122.5 million, the highest Week 1 total since 2019. Average viewers per game, 18.7 million. TV and
Jeez
digital. Best Week 1 since
Louise.
2016. Care to guess the top 5 games of Week 1?
I do.
Yeah. Thursday night, Sunday night,
Yeah.
Monday night.
Yeah.
The probably be Philly and New England,
And maybe us.
I would say Niners, Steelers, or us and Bengals.
We were showing a lot.
You had 4 out of the 5.
Which one did I miss?
Number 1 was Thursday night.
Yeah.
Number 2, Monday night. Number 3, Sunday night. I don't know. I guess as
Sunday
long
night
as you
football,
watched a little
yeah,
bit of it,
yeah.
it counts. I mean, I was
Monday night for
guilty of
sure,
that.
right?
Monday night was
Yeah, it was
number
number
2.
two.
Sunday night, number 3. Number 4, Eagles, Patriots.
Yeah.
Number 5, Packers, Bears, 16.3 million.
It was national, so they both had 425s.
Yeah.
So that's why that worked out that way that they had it, is they both were 425s.
I would love to know where we ended up in that because I feel like
Well, the thing is, though, like we would even on CBS alone, we were split with the Steelers and 49ers.
Yeah. We had most of the country, though.
we did.
Most.
Right, but that's
not all. Most.
yeah. So, yeah, that's where it is. I'm going to tell you something, folks. There are two certainties in the television ratings game, and both revolve around football. The National Football League and college football run the show. They run the show.
That's right.
Nebraska, Colorado did almost 10 million on Saturday at noon. Almost 10 million. Go look at NBA playoff games. Go look at Go look at the World Series. Go look at what playoff. I mean, playing for championships in the other sports versus regular season regional football, which, by the way, is competed on everywhere. It's not like Colorado, Nebraska is the only game at noon. There's a lot of games at noon.
Oh, yeah. I want to ask you a question. This just popped into my mind.
Go ahead.
Two things, and they both involve Deion Sanders. The
Yep.
first, are you aware, I had a buddy who just sent me like all these posts of his and articles talking about this phenomenon, that he would publicly rank his children?
I am aware of it. I love it.
Are you power ranking your children?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Yes. What I do is, but I tell them all their number one, like I whisper them. You're actually my favorite.
Yeah. But if you had you could put together
I could put together
official,
a power ranking right now. It would be real time power
Yeah,
rankings.
right.
I could do it in a second.
Does it fluctuate much?
It fluctuates between 2 and 3. 1 is pretty solidly 1.
One is pretty solidly one. Okay.
And I also would say that my power rankings are based entirely on the headache or lack thereof that they provide to me.
It doesn't
On a
bode-
particular day.
It doesn't bode
It
well.
fluctuates.
It
Yeah.
doesn't bode well for Bootsy.
No, it doesn't.
It does not bode well for his power ranking stats. All right, so that was one. Number two, this just popped in my mind because you made the comment yesterday, and I'd pondered it a little bit away from the program,
Sure.
that had Deion Sanders gone to Colorado a year earlier,
Yeah.
they're probably in the Big Ten.
I think it's a very
So
real chance.
it feels to me, and you tell me again if I'm wrong, because I am not a college football aficionado, that when his son goes to the NFL,
Yep, which could be this year or it could be next because he could do an NIL and stick around.
that it would behoove some major program to say, let's bring this to us. You talk about just the money that he's already making for Colorado.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What's the number that he is actually worth to a university and that he would be able to command?
Probably upwards of 10 or 15.
Doesn't he bring it in like 9 a game that they were getting Bubkiss for?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know that it's the thing that's tricky about him is like, and this would be just to counter, and I'm all pro him.
Yeah.
All of it. Like, I love it. I love the story. His kid's unbelievable. Travis
Yep.
Hunter is going to be one of the first in 2025. He'll be one of the first position players off the board.
Yep.
Non-quarterback.
Yep.
He's legit.
Yep.
But like a lot of those two players are personal attachés. One's his actual son.
Yep.
And the other one is the number one player in the country who he stole from Florida State to get him to go to Jackson State.
Yep.
So like they're locked in with him. Can he recruit a quarterback? Because he hasn't actually recruited well. He
No, he
it's
just
all
turned into
portal.
free agency.
It's all portal is what he's
Which
doing.
is kind
So-
of recruiting, though, on some
it is, but it's
on
also
some level.
It is, but it's like, is it something that can be done? Can you do that over and over again?
Right.
Because I mean, like, aside from the off-field stuff at Michigan State, that's what Mel Tucker did at Michigan State. Like, he landed Kenneth Walker in the transfer. They went 10-2 first year. He got all the money, and now he hasn't been able to recruit or portal it.
What would be like the ideal landing spot for
Florida
him?
State.
Florida State.
Yeah, Miami,
Right.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere in that region. Auburn had an opening. They could have hired him. He would have done all of this at Auburn. I mean, anywhere in that southeast.
That's why I'm amazed that
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, this was the only D1 place that really was interested, that went in on it, and they bet big, and they've won as big a bet as you can get
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And now he's selling, like, it's easy to sell that place. Have you seen the campus?
It's
ridiculous.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's Boulder.
gorgeous. Yeah. So, I mean, all of that adds up. But yeah, I do. It's a remarkable thing. All right, second hour coming up next. We will attempt to guess the spread with Dr. Z, little thing or not a thing, as well coming up, as well as the conversation with Grant Delpit.
Yeah, baby.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For nearly a century, Rumpke family operating one of the nation's largest waste and recycling companies, providing top-level services to residential and commercial customers. That's Rumpke's Waste and Recycling. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Time for a little segment we like to call Guess the Spread. You had a nice job last week.
1-0.
1-0 on the week, 1-0 on the season.
Yeah, 1-0 on the season.
Yep.
It's just it's binary, wins or losses. Can I get at a half point? A half point is hard. But we got there. I got to go 9 and 7. A point was too much.
What would Pedro's response have been if you said, "Dad, getting into Emory's hard"?
Nerd. Watch me drink my coffee.
Yeah.
Aspire to more. Nothing's easy in life. I
I
don't want to hear it.
My second semester of my senior year, I had already gotten into Emory.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to take all these AP classes.
Yep.
I want to just
Relax. Live a little.
Live a little.
Who gets hurt?
Nerd. No. Now he did say no, and the reality was it allowed me to basically get out of my whole freshman year of college. So
that's a win.
It was helpful that he said no. But no,
Are
he
you
was not.
Are you saying he's right for the record? He was right.
I think
With his
I'm
yoke?
pleased. I'm happy with his yoke in that one regard. Yeah. It was a good yoke.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Half point. That's where we're at. We're looking to be within a half point. You had a winning record, so I mean, we're not going to make this easier on you all of a sudden.
No. I understand. I'm ready.
Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore at Cincinnati.
What about the? Are we doing do we have Thursday night as well? Is that the
I'm
first one?
sorry, did I miss that one?
Yeah.
I
Let's
maybe
see.
did.
Baltimore at Cincy. Bengals -3. It's just a standard at home.
Got it. Bengals -3.5. Thursday night football, Vikings at Eagles.
Eagles -7.
Got it. Eagles -6.5. By the
Okay.
way, do you prefer? It's Philly, right? I mean, they always call it Philly,
Yeah.
but yet on a lot of the stuff it says Phila. Like on the Sixers stuff,
Yeah, the old
it's
Sixers.
Phila.
Yeah, the Will Chamberlain era. Yeah, no, I call it
Philly.
Philly.
It's Philly. Green Bay at Atlanta. Green Bay at Atlanta. Green Bay a dog to Chicago last week at Chicago.
I don't think they're a dog anymore. I think they're going to be favored. Green Bay -1.
Got it. -1.5.
Okay. All right. I start well usually for some reason.
Yes, you do.
And
Well,
then,
in
but
the
once
old
I
days-
lose one, then I get weird.
You get in your own head a little bit. In the old days, it was always the start that would do you, and then you'd try to rally. But now in the new days, the new front-running Nate, it's totally different.
Front-running.
Vegas,
I like front running Nate.
I like that too.
Nate.
Vegas at Buffalo. Vegas at Buffalo.
See if I can get in his head here a little bit.
I mean, that was a dreadful performance. Vegas won in Denver.
They sure
The
did.
Bills are still going to be big favorites. How big? I'm sticking kind of on the main numbers. I'll do that again here. Bills -7.5.
Incorrect.
we
Buffalo -9.5.
There we go. Now
loves
I'm
it.
in your head.
He loves it.
I'm in your head.
How are you in my head? That's an
He's literally,
outrageous.
I will say,
I'm there.
when you're in that seat and his voice is behind you with an inability to
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
I want to put up like some sort of a mirror, like a rear view mirror. so
Yes,
you can keep an
I've
eye on
asked
it.
for that.
You keep an eye on
Yes.
it. You don't know what's going on.
Hold on, you said 9.5?
Soon enough,
They're
you
gonna
will be
kill him
able
then.
to see me.
They're
Yellowstone
gonna
has a
kill
camera.
him.
They're just got to
Oh, he's
wire
gonna-
it, and you'll
then
be
they
able to
get-
see
then
on
you
the
see it
monitor.
out there. All right.
Good.
So
They're
you
gonna-
think,
they're
you think
gonna-
Buffalo's going to kill him?
Kill. Destroy. That is after what the performance they just put in, that's a big number against Jimmy Garoppolo-led team.
Huge.
Yeah. Like, don't
Seattle.
you think it's pretty natural to say, I'll just take the Raiders right there and backdoor?
I don't know. Last week I just hunted common sense on all of it, and it worked.
It did work.
So we'll see.
Well, to me, that common sense says they're going to
Yeah.
kill him.
Seattle at Detroit. 10 days off for the Leos.
Oh, this feels Vegas. This is Vegas zony. This isn't going to be 7, but it's going to be more than 3. 5.
Got it. 5.5.
Okay.
Chargers
Okay.
at Titans.
Chargers.
Yeah, by the way, anything could happen in this. Literally anything.
The Chargers make it so that anything can happen. I don't know. I
The
don't know.
Bozos.
I don't know why they don't if they had a real operation going on there, I think that this team would be.
That's where Sean Payton should have went if he believed.
Oh my gosh!
In his efforts, that's where.
But they wouldn't. I think that they wouldn't have.
They would never pay the buyout.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think they would. Oh man, they'd be a force. Chargers at Titans.
That's right.
Chargers are going to be favored on the road.
A little road
Vrabel.
ski. Little road ski.
Chargers -4.
Chargers -3.
Even
3.
Idiot.
Chicago at Tampa Bay.
Could have said 3.5, and I would have gotten.
Then
3
you're safe
and 4.
either way. Yeah, you're safe. Chicago at Tampa Bay. Baker knows the he knows the signs now. He knew. You see the story this morning that he knew the signs on the Vikings defense. That's why he was able to have success. He knew the hand signals.
Really?
That's what he said. That's what he told the Buccaneers in the locker room. Chicago at Tampa Bay.
The Bucs have to be favored.
Yeah. Did you watch the Bears?
I did. All right. This.
By the way, Justin Fields, and I've been as big a supporter as
terrible.
can be.
He's awful.
He was terrible. His average time per throw, there was only 4 more that took longer in the last decade of the league, and it was Zach Wilson. Oh my God, who was the other one? One was Tommy Reese. Or Ian Book, Zach Wilson, who's a Notre Dame quarterback, and there's one more wildly incompetent quarterback that it was. But it was he was 3.7 yard per 7 seconds of release.
He was number 1 by a lot last week.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I'm going to go Bucs -3.
Got it. -2.5.
Okay.
Kansas City at that should be bigger, by the way. Kansas City at Jacksonville. The Bears suck. They were always. Can you imagine he was at one point the most bet on MVP, Justin Fields?
It's insane.
Come on.
So I think this line's going to be bigger than it probably should be. Kansas City, and I'm going to take a learning from earlier, and hopefully it helps me here. Kansas City -3.5.
Got it. Kansas City -3.
Oh, good. So if I'd gone 4, I would have blown
been
it.
out of the mix.
All right, we're
that's
6
the one,
and 2.
See, that's the one thing about this, though. So many of these are 3. If you go 3.5, you're pretty safe. It covers you both ways.
Yeah, but then there's weird ones like 9.5 on Buff. That's a huge number.
It is, yeah. Indy at Houston. Ya boy.
So, where I have to make it in here is when I hit those Vegas zone ones, like that Detroit, Seattle. Those are the ones that's what allows me. And this won't be at a 3. This won't be a regular number. I think Houston -1.
Indy -1. Incorrect.
Crap.
Niners at Ramit.
I'm back on board with this segment.
You're back on board.
Back on board.
Niners at Ramit. He's back on board.
Niners will be favored into the Vegas zone. They are so good. How are they 1-point favorites at Pittsburgh? That was wild. Niners -6.5.
Incorrect. Niners minus Steve Young.
Woo!
8?
8.
Oh, God.
Giants at Arizona. 40-0 slump town.
Giants -3.
That's the inmate game of the week.
Incorrect. Gosh. Giants -5.5. Giants -5.5 in that one.
I love
Jets, Jets,
Totally.
Jets.
Uno, we're putting this every Wednesday.
Jets
we're moving
at
it up a
Dallas.
day.
Jets Uno.
I still have
Uno
a chance
moving.
to win right now. Okay,
Right.
I'm
You
still
gotta
one game
rally here.
above
3 straight losses.
I'm
Jets
one
at
game-
Dallas. Jets at Dallas. 40-0. Those Cowboys.
Their D is too good. Jets -10. I mean, Dallas -10.
Incorrect. Dallas -9. Niner.
Hate to see it.
Niner. Washington at Denver. Commies. Broncos. Mile high.
Denver -3.
Got it. 3.5. Dolphins at New England. Miami at New England.
Sunday night football. Get the Patriots off national
They love
TV.
them. Okay, real quick as an
God
aside
bless
for all of us. I think television executives primarily are on the East Coast in New York or else they're in LA, obviously. There is this belief that New England is America's team.
A draw.
They are not the Cowboys. I don't think. I think it was Brady. I think it was that specific time. I don't think that you can just throw them out like you throw out the Cowboys
Agreed.
or the Steelers
They're
or the
trying.
Packers. But they're trying. They're on these primetime every week. They're on.
I really thought I had.
I
the Dallas
hate
one.
them.
I agree. I really thought I had the Dallas one.
Sad.
All right, what am I at right now?
Dolphins
Miami.
at New England.
Philly was 5.5 against them, and won by 5. Dolphins minus 3.5.
Incorrect. Dolphins minus 2.5. So for the record, that puts you at 6 up,
7-7.
7-7.
7-7.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Cleveland minus 2.5.
Nailed it right on it. New Orleans at Carolina for the win. New
Two
Orleans
Monday night
at
games.
Carolina for the dub.
Carolina, New Orleans, 7 o'clock. Browns, Squealers, 8:15.
What are they hoping? America forgets that there's a game at 8:15? Like we'll get you early and then
So
maybe you'll stick
next
around.
week-
I don't understand the philosophy of this.
Next week, ESPN and ABC are doing it again. Eagles, Tampa Bay at 7. Rams, Cincy at 8:15.
Ugh. Neither one of those
Week
are great.
14, it comes back. They take like 11 weeks off.
Then they run it back?
Week 14, both games kick at 8:15.
This is like icing the kicker, by the way. I've talked myself into 100 different numbers. Like, what is this? Why is this conversation necessary right here? We're at the final
That's
game.
exactly. I'm winning. I'm jumping in. I'm just going to filibust. I'm going to filibust and make him think about it.
Into 1,000 numbers. Go ahead.
New
Orleans
Orleans.
at Carolina for the dub. 8-7 on the week. Mr. Zagora.
Unless you want to talk about week 14.
New Orleans minus 3.5.
Got it. -3.
Oh, baby, in
Wait
your
a-
face.
I like how you took the earlier lesson of the 3.5.
I used it. Cost me
That's
on one,
sad. It
though. That
cost
one
you on
was
one.
a 2.5.
Yeah, but
So-
that's it. So 9-7.
2-0, baby.
The most stupefying. There's so many of these that are pretty wild. The one that was crazy was Buffalo 9.5.
9. That
It's
was
one of those ones when I go, gosh almighty, like
They're going to kill him.
Vegas can't be that bad.
No, they're going to kill him. It's going to be like that.
Or it's the other.
No.
Or it's
No.
the other.
No.
We had
Vegas-
those last week. We had
Ve-
some of those last week.
Yeah,
where
but
it was
this is
look, it's first
this
2
is
weeks.
an intentional line.
First 2 weeks.
You got to make it first 4. Yeah, you got to make your money.
But the first 2 are really tricky. You're trying to sort things out a little bit. The other thing that I heard is that, forever the standard was 3 home. Now, because of what's happened, it's like 1.5.
Yeah, home is not.
Home is not worth 3. It just doesn't happen anymore. The offenses are evolved to the point where it's not worth the full
2-0.
3. Good job out of you. We'll hit a little thing or not a thing coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet, sports betting partner
Thing!
of Cleveland Browns.
Thing.
850 ESPN
Not
Cleveland.
a thing.
And avocados from Peru will be at the Avon Meyer location 1 to 3 Friday, September 15th. Stop by and enter the Ultimate Football Sweepstakes. Your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning electric truck. Play games, win prizes. Meet Kevin Mack. For more info, visit the Cleveland Browns Facebook page, and you will find it there. Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hello, Gibby.
Hi, boys. I think I might have gotten this finally figured
Easy?
out
Here,
7 months
I'll give you an
into
example.
Oh, he's been waiting for this.
Gibbe has mastered thing or not a thing. Thing or not a thing. Not a thing.
We're about to find out.
Yes, we'll find out.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
Maybe a thing.
Maybe.
I mean,
We'll
Saturday
I'm sad that I
is
didn't
a
miss
work
the
day.
golf. I didn't get to play golf on your shirt. The
That's
emblem.
right. That would have been a nice place
Saturday is a work day in our department. Thing or not a thing. Not a thing.
to go, depending on who
I have
you
client.
are.
I have client meetings.
Client meetings.
Sad.
Got to have some client meetings.
I
Got
can
him.
assure you,
That's
you'll be
client
here
meetings.
on Saturday.
Well, I don't know that you can assure me.
Oh,
of
no.
that.
He's usurping. He's
Maybe
going
we'll
above
just-
and beyond.
He
We're
can't
gonna go
usurp me.
right over the top, and
Oh,
we're
my
gonna get
God.
that done.
That's where we're going.
You
right to
can't
the
go
top.
right over the top.
Oh,
I
for
can
God's sake.
actually.
It's Rosh Hashanah, Gibbe, and I think there should be some
You're not
respect shown
Jewish.
to the holiday. My kids are.
Okay. Like what? I don't.
You're out of it. Okay, you should stop. Okay, go on. Thing or not a thing?
All right, let's see how you do, Gibby.
All right, this is from Sports Illustrated. Winners and losers from Week 1 of the NFL season. Their first winner was Tua Tagovailoa. I still can't say it. We're 3 years into this.
All right, so here's how
Tua
this goes. All right, so
Tagovailoa.
give me the thing again. Here's the
Tagovailoa.
statement. Here's the
What's
statement.
the statement?
Here's the statement.
No, I've got the statement right here.
Okay,
Hold on,
go
I
ahead.
got
Go
it
ahead.
coming.
Go ahead.
Tua is a legit MVP candidate. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, it's a
Thing.
thing, and you did it right.
That
That's
was
a
right.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the right way.
That was
to do
exciting.
It. That's a good way to do it. You
I
did it
got
right.
this.
That was
that's
exciting.
Right. Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, it's a health. You got to say health. That's the whole thing with him. I mean, I think I mentioned this earlier in the week. Sometimes I forget what I say on what platform, but I think a lot of it is he's left-handed. And
You
so
always
people-
say that.
I think people don't
But
think
like-
that. I don't think people are used to seeing a ball with that trajectory, and so they think that he doesn't have arm strength.
Did people say that about like Steve Young though? Or
I don't know. I
Vic?
wasn't doing sports talk radio then.
I don't think so.
I have no idea. There just are so few of them that people thought like he was a wonky thrower.
Because-
and the reality is he's got a pretty good cannon.
He does have a pretty good arm, but he throws the ball with such anticipation that his ball does have an up-down motion to it on most of his throws.
yeah, it's not Vic.
No, he does not throw lasers, but he's
His timing's
ungodly
great.
accurate,
Yeah.
and his timing is excellent.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of good for him. Took that jiu-jitsu, learned how to fall.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Another winner from the weekend, Week 1, according to Sports Illustrated, Brandon Ayuk. Mm-hmm. Brandon Ayuk will lead the 49ers in receiving in 2023. Thing or not a thing?
100% that's a thing. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go check this right now. I'm pretty sure
Did
he
he do
led
it
the
last
49ers in receiving in 2022.
Was he a 1,000-yard guy last
He was
year?
a 1,000-yard
Yeah.
guy, and Debo was not, and Kittle was not. So he did, I think, I don't even really need to look it up, but I'm pretty sure he did it
is
last
he
year
a
as well.
free agent at the end of the season?
So here, he was a first round
yes.
pick. Ayuk. Let's see.
Like, add his name to the list. There's
So he should be, I'm guessing they picked up his 5th-year option. He was a first-round pick in 2020. So 20, 21, 22, 23.
I don't know if they did in looking.
He's
that-
coming off of a season where he caught 78 balls, 1,015 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Here, I can look. They'll have that on Pro Football Reference if they did in his transactions. Transactions. I don't know. So I don't see. I
don't
would
they
think so.
did.
You don't let receivers who are blossoming go. And because he was picked 25th, it's not even that. Yeah, they picked it up. Yep.
Okay.
So he will not be a free agent. In fact, my guess is that they will end up. The guy who's going to be gone from there is Debo.
Yeah.
All right, on to the losers from the weekend in Week 1. According to Sports Illustrated, obviously number 1, the New York Football Jets. Thing or not a thing, the Jets are still talented enough to be a playoff contender in 2023.
Not a thing. No, not a thing. The Jets are not a playoff contender without Aaron Rodgers. They're going to flirt around. They'll win 7 games, 6. They have a really good defense. They got great weapons. But if they don't make a move at quarterback, they don't trust the operation. And the AFC, while maybe not what we thought it was going to be in July, is still really good.
And it still could
And they
be
play
one week.
they play a great division, man. Like no.
In the NFC,
I put them like fourth in their division now. I think New England even finished.
In the NFC thing, AFC not a thing.
No, they just can't. It's just
Can't do it.
They don't trust him, and yeah.
They're going to get a quarterback. I think we should all just prepare ourselves.
But
for
what
that.
do you try to do if you're them? Like, do you try to go the
I would
Jacoby
go-
Brissett
yes.
route? I mean, they're trying to land Hail Marys with these recently retired guys, like with Rivers and all that.
Rivers
There's
and Matt
nobody out
Ryan
there-
are cooked?
They're cooked. Like Rivers couldn't throw it the last time out, right?
No.
Ryan definitely couldn't.
No, neither
I
one
thought
of them.
Rivers was totally cooked. I mean, you'd have to
Cooked.
see if he still had any arm talent left.
Yeah, no.
But with that offensive line too, by the way, he's going to get bludgeoned.
No, you need somebody who's got some size,
some ability.
toughness, athletic ability. That's why I think Jacoby's a
He'd
good.
be a good fit. Yeah.
If they're going to play Sam Howell, what's the point? Why not trade him?
Right.
Another loser from week 1, according to SportsIllustrated.com, the Bengals offense. Thing or not a thing, T. Higgins not getting a contract will have a negative effect on this team at some point this season. Not a negative effect, but will become a distraction.
I don't think it's a thing, but
Ooh, a caveat.
And the reason I don't think it's things, I think they're going to be winning enough that winning
Winning
cures
yeah.
all those ills. But if we get into a situation where they are not winning and it's late in the season and he feels like he's not getting the ball enough because he's now thinking about his money and going to be a free agent and all of that, it could become a real big problem. If they fall short of expectations this year, it could become a monster problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem, though.
I don't think it will be. I like the caveat you put on it. If it all goes to hell, that's a problem. He was bothered, and he did have a presser right before the start of the season where he talked about, like, I want to prove that I'm a number one. And that's something we've always kind of curious, like, at some point, does he want that? I know that they have, like, Burrow, everyone has done everything with the idea of we need another you got to have us a window with Higgins. Like, we don't want this to end this year. So my hunch is he'll be back in Cincinnati. I don't know how they'll do that or what it'll look like on a short term. I have no idea. It's going to take an incredible concession out of him to be able to get it done.
Nobody can.
It's hard to imagine.
People don't make concessions. Joe Burrow didn't take a team-friendly deal. People don't make concessions.
Yeah.
He's going to go get paid.
Bigly.
Another loser from week 1,
They might come right up.
Saquon Barkley. Thing or not a thing, Saquon should have continued his holdout into the regular season.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Because he has no leverage. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, ask Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
He's just going to cost himself a bunch of money. So, no, it is. You just got to get your money when you can get it. The going rate for a great NFL running back right now is $11-12 million, and you take what you can get.
Kadarius Toney, an obvious loser in week 1, according to Sports Illustrated. Thing or not a thing, though, Kadarius Toney will end up being a top 3 wide receiver for this team by the end of the season.
No, not a thing. Trust is lost. Pick 6 off his hands, huge drop. At some point, the talent, it's fine, but like it's enough.
Kadarius Toney really helped them win the Super Bowl,
Yes.
right? I mean, 65-yard punt return to help them. He had those late game heroics. So do I think they're totally out on him? No. So he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl and had the punt return. So I don't think they're totally out on him. I think that he will have a hard time staying healthy enough to get where that is. I think it's much more likely. No, I think thing is that by the end of this year, Justin Ross will be a top 3 receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. To me, that's a thing.
I agree. Like Kelsey's going to be 1 for them, in receiving. So then 2 in receiving. Who had their second most targets? Who had the most targets? So Rashee Rice had the most targets.
Second rounder this year. Scott Moore, second rounder last year.
Toney had 5 targets, just 1 catches, including the 2 drops. Justin Watson, it looked like he liked him a lot.
He threw the ball.
He trusts him. Just 4 targets, but he did trust him down the field a little bit, which I took note of in that game. As you're trying to figure out like what exactly is their plan?
Yeah.
With all of this, Sky Moore, Zilch, Bupkis,
same as me and you.
same.
And that's thing or not a thing.
Right. That was.
I
in
think it was
fact.
good.
That was a good job.
I think you did a good job,
That was a
Gibby.
good job out of you, Gibby. Download the Bally Bet app today. Kick off the season with a second chance bet up to 100. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Must be 21 or older. Ohio only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more. Grant Delpit on the program coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
worked on it a lot in the off-season camp. And I came to prove it week one. But it's gonna be every week, man. It's NFL. It's gonna be some plays they catch them. It's gonna be some plays they not. We right there, but we gonna try to make it hard on them. But yeah, receivers like to push off. When they push off, quick little hand jab to the catch point. So it's something we work on all the time. But it was a good play.
It was a big play. I mean, and I'm sure that you felt that when you came back to the sidelines. That was a big play, and that's something that you were doing. You think go back to the last quarter of the season last year, 3 picks, you were making big plays, and you said you want to be the best in the world. You feel like you're a playmaker, and this defense gives you the opportunity to kind of showcase that because not only you led the team in tackles, you were there every time they checked one down short of the sticks, and you make those tackles, you get the football back.
Yeah, man, I want to be all over the place. Like I said, I don't want there to be any weakness in the game. And we want to get that ball, man. We came out the game with no takeaways, though. So that's one thing we have to work on. Go get that ball. Like, we let them off easy, I feel like. And we still -2 in the turnover margin after this game. So we need to leave Pittsburgh with something.
Well, it's good to have those thoughts. All right, we got to do this better or coming off of a win, right? Especially a 3-touchdown win over a division rival.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, man, you want to flush a win and a loss that Monday. I'm sure it's a lot of good things being said about us, but we're not there. It's week one. You don't write teams on or off for week one. You know what I mean? So it's the perfect opportunity to go out there and prove what we actually are come Monday night.
Is there something special about the fact that you guys come off this one, right? And, yeah, there's talk. That doesn't matter. You're going to go on national television. Monday Night Football, all the eyes of the NFL on the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is an opportunity to you guys really want to make a statement to go back-to-back here and do that on national TV. That's a chance.
Yeah, and we're going to do it in new helmets looking icy white. You know what I mean?
Look good, play good, right?
We're going to be looking great. We're going to be looking great when we're flying around. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I love primetime games. That's when I come alive, really. As a defense, we're gonna put us on the national map. Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about your room for a second. Juan was not able to go week one. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back this week. In steps Rodney McLeod. The guy started, I think, now about 140 games in his career. To have him next to you, how was that, in your first time out there? And then even Ronnie, as an undrafted free agent, was out there quite a bit in his first ever NFL game.
Yeah. I'm proud of Rocky, man. Because I remember those days when I was coming back from my second year and kind of rotating in and stuff like that and getting a few meaningful snaps. So shout out to him. He did play pretty well. But Rodney, man, it's about communication. Like, this guy knows a lot when it comes to this defense. So it's good to have a good vocal, correct voice on the field. That's gonna get everybody lined up and keep everybody calm at the same time. So, yeah, man, when Juan comes back, it's gonna be scary.
When it looked like from my vantage point in the booth that you guys were doing a lot of communication pre-snap, making sure everything was on the same page. Is that something I know that you've emphasized you guys have been working on, but as you said, also vocal and correct. You guys were also correct in being vocal like that.
Yeah. For me, I want to be the loudest on the field. I want to be that guy that everybody look to besides the mic, with the call and stuff, but to get the secondary in order. And keep everybody on the same page, man. A quick call is the right call, and keeping everybody calm is very important in having a successful defense. So,
I almost forgot to ask you about your blitz. You like that, right? So you get an opportunity. You showed your coverage. You showed your ability in the run game. You showed your ability tackling after they would make the catch, keeping them short of the sticks, and then you get to show off the blitzing there in this defense. You like that play call, and then what did you say to him? That was your guy, Joe Burrow. At one point, that was your guy. What did you say to him after you put a pretty good lick on him?
I didn't say nothing after the play, but he let go of the ball pretty quickly, so I didn't get a chance to get my sack. But it's gonna come back around. Got a little pressure on him, made him overthrow the ball. So that's how the game goes sometimes.
I know you guys are on to the Steelers now. We put on their tape, obviously, for them. That's a game they're going to want to flush. And I don't know how much you guys are able as a defense to get out of that since they started off, I think it was 6 straight 3-and-outs. But you guys did the same thing to the Bengals. No big deal. What do you see from this Steelers team? It looks like they won't have Deontay Johnson, but we know Pickens is a guy who definitely can get down the field.
Yeah, he has great ball skills, young and raw talent, but can catch the ball. Najee, strong runner, hard to tackle in the open field. The back 30, he's more downhill, he's fast, pinball guy. Like I said, Deontay's not playing. Kenny Pickett, trying to get some pressure on him. try to take away the easy throws, make them throw some contested balls. And we got a good game plan. We know they like to do a lot of motions in Matt Canada. We're going to be ahead of the motion and keep everybody on the same page.
This team seems close. Like, if you go back and watch the tape, and not only the guys on the side, but then when they show the sideline angle, everybody's up, especially on this defense. Everybody's up. Everybody's cheering. Everybody's getting excited.
Got a minute left.
This week on Thursday, you guys all got together to watch the Chiefs and the Lions. Is this like, do you feel like there's something happening here with not only what's going on the field, but off of the field in terms of the chemistry, going back to the Greenbrier even?
Yeah, we have a tight-knit locker room. That's one thing we actually had at LSU when we won the championship, man. We had a very close locker room, having fun. We was doing like the get the gat stuff. I don't remember if I don't know if y'all remember that stuff when that was going viral, but we just stuff like that, man. Just having a
30
room and on and off the field. It's very important because you need to be able to trust the guys that you're out there with. So once you had that camaraderie, it goes a long way.
You're excited, aren't you?
Man, I know you can't tell right now, but hey, man, come alive Monday night. We got to show the world.
Let's go. Grant, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck.
And I want to say we're praying for Jim and his family. Can't wait to see you back out there with us,
Heck of a debut.
Heck of a debut. And the words at the end there from Grant,
Yeah.
For Jim was awesome. And while we were on the air, I saw the Browns tweeted out tons of players, coach, a message for Jim Donovan. And I love that. And, at the time when I was down there with Grant, he didn't have to say anything. And he wanted to make sure he didn't say, hey, he just, at the end when I said thanks, he took the microphone and said, hey, I want to say one more thing for Jim and did. And I love that. I love how plugged in this team is. Yes, he had a heck of a debut. You could hear through that interview how locked in they are, how focused they are. What his goal is to be the best safety in the NFL, and he's going about it very quietly. And I love that, the work he's putting in. But there's something special about the community of this team, and I'm very excited to see that continue to manifest itself on the field. But I think there's something he even said. He's like, this reminds me of like being back at LSU.
We said that when we talked to him on the draft, and I remember telling him, like, I made this years ago. This is I know people take it as an insult. Please don't. I mean it in the highest form of compliment. This is a college football town.
Oh, yeah.
By feel.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is everything stops at 1 o'clock on Sunday because the Browns are playing. You set your calendar to that doesn't happen everywhere around the league.
No.
A lot of the big cities, like games happen, and there's a section of people that like them.
Right.
But in big college towns, or even small college towns, mostly, a lot of them, the whole operation runs around the football team.
Totally.
And so when I say that, I mean it as the highest form of compliment, because it's the most fun you can have is when everything goes around the football team. And to that end, the stuff that what Grant said about Jim, the video that the organization put out, the stuff that with you and him at the end. To that end, Jim Donovan is the orator of this town.
Yeah,
He's the voice of the city.
Yes, and
that's it. Like he's the voice of the city. He's not the voice of Cleveland Browns. He's the voice of the city.
Yeah, the voice of everybody who supports this team or this city around the world. It's very powerful. Good job by the Browns there, and great job by Grant Delpit. And you can tell he's never had more fun. And you're right, he feels that collegiate atmosphere here, the collegiality. And I think even in the locker room, he was likening it to, I haven't felt like this in a locker room since I was at LSU, which is pretty cool.
Despite some of the lack of success that's happened here in 20 years, people love playing here.
Yes.
Because of that atmosphere.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, wow, this is like I'm back at Big State.
Yep.
Like this is what it was like, right? I mean, that part of it resonates, and it resonates with everybody who plays for the organization. Be sure to catch the Browns preview show tonight at 7. Ken and Gerard at the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Browns offensive tackle DeJuan Jones joins the show as they look ahead to Monday night's showdown against the Steelers. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Oh, my gosh. We have so much more to come.
Wow. I don't know if we've ever had this much time before.
Really meaty here. All right, so you got today is a First Friday. So
Yeah.
for our purposes, this was a Tuesday.
Correct.
So tomorrow will be a coordinator day
Yep.
on a Wednesday,
So
which will be a Thursday.
I have questions.
I don't know if I'll have answers, but try.
Tomorrow is technically a Wednesday in the building. So does that mean we get another First Friday?
No, First
No.
Friday's
First
Friday's Wednesday.
real.
That's
it
it.
goes by the clock.
But
It's
even
today.
if
It
it's
stays
a
on the clock.
Wednesday,
yeah.
No, First Friday happens. There are
was
some that
looking
are
for
better
another
than
drink.
others. Well, listen, it just think of you never need a reason. Just think of it this way: a Thursday, even if you go on a bender, all you got to do is a Friday. You're right back at it. Everybody's off Saturday. Everybody knows that, so you're clear on that side of things.
So what did they do today, Gibby? Did they do just a walkthrough?
I believe it was mostly meetings, lifting, just getting everybody back in the building. They were outside for a couple minutes, but I don't know what that was. It was not very long.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting through
I
them.
think it
One
was
minute.
just getting.
Get
I think
some
it was
mental reps.
install and
Yeah, just get a little,
meetings.
get some mental reps.
Less than a minute here. You guys seen the throw of the guy at the flats throwing it onto the barge. The
I
beer
did
can?
see that.
Great toss.
It's an all timer.
No. All-timer. I would say it is the second best toss I've seen involving a boat since Brady threw the Lombardi boat to boat. Do you remember that?
I do remember
In
that.
their soup-
yeah,
like
he was
30.
inebriated.
Those are big stakes.
That was bigger stakes. But from an accuracy standpoint, it's as good a throw.
Incredible.
I don't know that Mahomes could have made it.
No, it was an incredible throw.
Yeah, good job out of you. All right, the next level coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Runs Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You guys are done.